Welcome people to my new video. This video is about the casino game Extreme Lightning Roulette from Evolution Gaming. We all know this game. So once betting time has closed, lightning numbers with random multipliers up to 500x are generated, followed by a dramatic chain lightning effect which brings up to 9 additional chain lightning numbers. But that's not all. Double strikes and a second round of lightning can potentially increase multipliers to 2000x. Now that's what we call extreme. So step 1, lightning numbers. Step 2, chain lightning numbers. Step 3, double strikes. It doesn't go to step 3 every round. So you think there is a chance of getting a double strike every round. But they go to step 3 every now and then. And the casino game is hosted by a host. And the host dances, sings, tells stories, shares with us their favorite foods, music, movies, and more. They are there to make you forget how bad this casino game is. Evolution Gaming wants to make money, and they want to attract people like you to the absolute worst games. The games that make the most money for them. This game will steal all your money, time, energy, positive moods, and happiness. So don't say, I didn't warn you. Now let's see how bad it is. And for that, I have to compare Extreme Lightning Roulette to regular roulette. I cannot compare Extreme Lightning Roulette to trading, to a bank interest rate, to how much Ursula von der Leyen makes, to how much George Soros makes from LGBTQ, to how much Bill Gates makes from his mosquitoes. So we have to compare it to regular roulette. That's the benchmark. You will see the results of 40,000 real historical Extreme Lightning Roulette spins. So no simulation. Real historical data. And it took me a month just to collect the data. And so it was a lot of work. But now I can share the results with you. Before I share the results with you, how did I compare Extreme Lightning Roulette to regular roulette? In both cases, I bet on all 37 numbers, paying €1 per number. With regular roulette, you lose €1 per spin because they give you 36x, but your cost is 37x. And so you lose 1x, €1. Now let's look at Extreme Lightning Roulette. When there is no multiplier, you lose €17. They give you 20x, but your cost is 37x. So you lose 17x, €17. And when there is a multiplier, you earn the multiplier minus a cost of 37x. So 100x is actually 63x. 50x is actually 13x. So see how sneaky this is? With a slot machine, you actually get 100x when you get a 100x win per spin. Here, it's 63x instead of 100x. 13x instead of 50x. So very sneaky again, right? Okay, and now the results. Here, spin number, the first spin, the second spin, the third spin, spin number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and all the way up to 40,000. And here, date, roulette number 22, 28, 17. Here, x, the multipliers, no multiplier, no multiplier, no multiplier, 100x, no multiplier, no multiplier, 50x, 200x. This information is from regular roulette, and this information is from Extreme Lightning Roulette. And I'm comparing Extreme Lightning Roulette to regular roulette. So here, -1, -2, -3, -4, and in the end, minus 40,000. Extreme Lightning Roulette, minus 17, minus 34, minus 51, plus 12. Here you see the price. So I start with 200,000 euros because that gives me positive numbers again. Here my 200,000 is worth 199,999. Here 98, 97, 96. Extreme Lightning Roulette, my 200,000 euros is worth 199,983. Here is 66, 49. Here 200,012 plus 12, so 200,012. And this is the price change. This minus this divided by this gives this minus 0.0005%. Right? The same for Extreme Lightning Roulette. This minus this divided by this gives this minus 0.0085%. And as you can see, the price change of Extreme Lightning Roulette is higher than the price change of regular roulette. Now, what does this mean? This means you will immediately notice that Extreme Lightning Roulette is much more expensive than regular roulette. The absolute price differences are different. In one case, €1, and in the other, 17 euros. The same story for your net loss. With regular roulette, your loss was 40,000 euros. 40,000 times €1. And with Extreme Lightning Roulette, your loss was 62,540 euros. That's almost a 60% higher loss. So that's not a small amount. It's a significantly higher loss. So the house edge of Extreme Lightning Roulette is many times higher than the house edge of regular roulette. This is the reality for a gambler. I also calculated the beta for Extreme Lightning Roulette. Beta is a widely used indicator of the price volatility or the level of risk of a stock relative to the broader market. In our case, a stock is Extreme Lightning Roulette and the broader market is regular roulette. Beta is about volatility, risk, the level of risk. When you gamble, you're essentially investing your money. Gambling is a risky investment. But how risky is gambling? Or in this case, how risky is Extreme Lightning Roulette? The higher the beta number, the higher the risk. A beta greater than 1, a beta greater than 1 indicates that the security's price is theoretically more volatile than the market. So if a stock's beta is a 1.2, it is assumed to be 20% more volatile than the market. I calculated the beta, and you can calculate the beta using the slope or the covariance variance formula. And that's what I did. The beta for Extreme Lightning Roulette is 2.62. So if regular roulette is 100% risky, then Extreme Lightning Roulette is 262% risky, or 162% riskier. Now, you play Extreme Lightning Roulette for the multipliers, right? 1. What are the multipliers? 2. How many times will you get multipliers? So the frequencies. And 3. When? The Poisson distributions and durations. These are the possible multipliers. 50x, 100x, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350, 400, 500, 600, 700, 1000, 1500, 2000x. I haven't seen any other multipliers in my historical data. Okay, and now the frequencies. How many times will you get the multipliers? So let's look at the data. So here you see, right, the individual frequencies and the individual percentages. Here you see the cumulative frequencies and the cumulative percentages. And here you see the remove and replace frequencies and the remove and replace percentages. But don't worry, I will explain what it means. Right? So the individual frequencies and individual percentages. I have seen a 50x 1191 times. I have seen a 100x 2196 times. I have seen a 150x 154 times. I have seen a 2000x 5 times. I have seen 0x 35,718 times. This divided by 40,000 gives this, remember at 40,000 spins, in 89.30% of the time you will get nothing, not a single multiplier. In 2.98% of the time you will get a 50x. In 5.49% of the time you will get a 100x. In 0.39% of the time you will get a 150x. And here in 0.013% of the time you will get a 2000x. Right? And if you add up all of this, you get 40,000. And if you add up all of this, you get 100%. Now, what does this mean? So you go to Extreme Lightning Roulette and you wonder what's the chance and the probability and the odds that the next spin will be a 50x. Be 50x, and here 2.98%. What's the chance, the probability that the next spin will be a 200x? Well, 0.46%. What's the chance that the next spin will be a 2000x? Well, 0.013%. Then here, what's the chance, the probability that the next spin will not have a multiplier? Well, 89.30%. So that's what it means. The individual frequencies and the individual percentages. Okay, and now the cumulative frequencies and the cumulative percentages. And this is very easy. You simply add up the desired individual frequencies or the desired individual percentages. For example, this plus this plus this is 3,541. This plus this plus this plus this plus this is 9.33%. An example for these 4 multipliers. What's the chance, the probability that the next spin, so again, very important, one spin, I'm talking about one spin, that the next spin will be either 50x, 100x, 150x, or 200x. You can add up the frequencies or you can add up the percentages, right? So 9.31%. You can calculate anything, whatever you want. And you have the individual frequencies and you have the individual percentages. Right? So for example, this plus this plus this plus this plus this, 6.10%, or this plus this plus this plus this plus this is 1%, right? So you can calculate anything. This is also cool. The RR frequencies and the RR percentages. So the remove and replace frequencies and the remove and replace percentages. 100x is actually also a 50x. 150x is actually also a 50x. A 300x is actually also a 50x, right? So we will remove the 100 and replace it by 50. Remove the 300 and replace it by 50. An example. What's the chance, the probability that the next spin will be at least 150x? So here, 150, 200. 200x is actually also 150x. 250x is actually also 150x, and so on, right? Bang, add up the frequencies or add up the percentages, and you get 2.24%. Another example, what's the chance, the probability that the next spin will be at least 500x? 500, 600x is actually also 500x. So remove and replace, and remove the 600 and replace it by 500. So a 700, 700x is actually also a 500x, and so on, right? Bang, add up the frequencies or add up the percentages, and you get 1.183%, 1.18%. And now you can calculate a few things with this calculator. Remember, I said the percentages were calculated for one spin. So if I change this to 1 here, you will see the same percentages appear. This multiplied by this gives this. This multiplied by this gives this, right? So the remove and replace percentages and the cumulative percentages. Or this divided by this gives the number of spins. This divided by this gives the number of spins. A few examples. Here, you want this here to be 1, right? So 1 divided by this. Remember, this divided by this gives the number of spins. So 1 divided by this, okay? And you should always round up. So 12, 12 spins. You see here 1. Theoretically, in the long run, there will be 1 multiplier in every group of 12 spins. So in a group of 12 spins, there is 1 multiplier. Now, which multiplier? Well, it's cumulative, and it's this row. This is cumulative. So in a group of 12 spins, there is 1 multiplier that is either 50x or 100x. Another example, you want this here to be 5. So, right, 5 divided by this gives you the number of spins. Round up, 57. So 57, bang, 5. So in a group of 57 spins, there are 5 multipliers. Which multipliers? It's cumulative, this row, this is cumulative, 5 multipliers that are either 50x, 100x, or 150x. Another example, I want 1 double strike. So a multiplier that is at least 600x. Remember, that's RR. I want this here to be 1. 1 divided by this. It gives you the number of spins. So 98. See here, 1. Theoretically, in the long run, I get 1 double strike in 98 spins. Right, so here, 1, it's RR, and it's this row. This is RR. So it will take 98 spins to get 1 double strike. Right, you see here, this row, at least 600x. Again, you can calculate anything, whatever you want. And now the durations, the Poisson distributions, or in other words, when will the multipliers appear? When will the multipliers fall? And this is actually the most important part of the video. Gambling is all about timing. Okay, so here you see the timing, spin number, a multiplier hit or fell on the first spin, the second spin, the 15th spin, and so on. And then the frequencies, how many times it happened. The same, but expressed as a percentage, the individual percentages, and the cumulative percentages. This plus this plus this is this. This plus this plus this plus this is this. And then the average number of spins, minimum spins, maximum spins. Always the same layout. Here you see the durations of a multiplier that is at least 50x. Remember RR, 50x. 50x is good enough for you. And now some examples. In 10.21% of the time, this multiplier hit on the first spin. In 9.67% of the time, it hit on the second spin. In 2.43% of the time, it hit on the 15th spin. And as you can see, the percentages decrease. And that's normal, because the longer you have to wait, the lower the chance. Maximum 79. I have seen one time that a multiplier of at least 50x hit on the 79th spin, 0.023%. So it's not likely, okay? And the cumulative percentage is, of course, 100%, because 79 was the maximum. Again, the average number of spins, minimum spins, maximum spins. And now another example of how you can use this data. Let's say you want a 50% chance of hitting a multiplier of at least 50x. You check this list, durations 50x, here 50%, 7. Then you have to play the first 7 spins. And you wait for a multiplier and start playing. And you have to go through the first 7 spins. And then you have 53.84%. Perhaps you think 50% is a bit too low. I want 70%. Okay, here 70%. Then you have to go through the first 11 spins. Or you want 90%. Here 90%. Then you have to play the first 21 spins. Maybe you say, 50x is not good enough for me. I want a higher multiplier, right? Maybe 100x, a multiplier that is at least 100x. Bang. Right, so the same 50%. Now you have to go through the first 10 spins. 70%, now you have to go through the first 16 spins. 90%, now you have to go through the first 28 spins.